Welcome, Traveler. 10 hours into the new season with Summoner Necro, and we're sitting at pit 80 down, 9 billion damage, Belial just keeling over like there's no tomorrow. And the very best part, we don't even have perfect Hand of Nas, missing another 25% here. Greater Affix Skeletal Mage Mastery, don't even have a Skeletal Mage Mastery Greater Affix on the Ring of Mendeln. We have so much more growth potential. Now, there are a couple of problems that the build had to overcome. Your personal tankiness, barrier uptime, and also the cooldown of your ultimate, so you can keep spamming it and get the biggest billion hits. Gameplay of the Hand of Nas Necro is a bit different, but that's where our Arcana come in to make it so much more convenient. In order to have your mages to always be in place, you need to run up, put down your disintegrate power to instantly get barrier, and then pull everything together. And since you want your mages to really hit where you want them to hit, you often have to over-engage that they get teleported to your position. Then as they're hitting away, you're spamming Corpse Explosion, Corpse Tendrils, and the occasional Blight to get that bonus damage multiplier. But I want to pretty much engage this pack, put my disintegrate down, get a corpse from the lucky hit chance to get a corpse, and then I run forward so my mages teleport to my position, and we can have like them all hitting those guys in one spot. Then you pack your Army of the Dead for the super damage boost, and you don't need to actually curse because we're having the Blood Moon Breaches, boom, disintegrate, to do our curse automatically. Now, the one problem with this playstyle is that we're always up front, right? In the beginning at least. So we're engaging into the enemy. Our mages are not easing themselves forward. As soon as your mages are engaged, you can take a step back and then enjoy the show from the distance and have your dudes just clap away. But the beginning attack always has to come from you, like you're moving inwards. Now, what are our Arcana doing to actually help us so much with this? First, we're playing Disintegrate. Because of the very low cooldown, it's 5.3 seconds. And the cooldown needs to be low because we're having Bottled Wind. Invoking your Catalyst grants you a barrier for 4 seconds. Optimally, we want to use this every 4 seconds. That's why we're also playing the Luminate Eye. Your catalytic skills gain 25% cooldown reduction. Haha. Next one would be Reactive Ooze for more resource generation. It is a power arcana, the same as Sharpening Gizmo is a power arcana. Both of these power arcanas are being used. Since we're playing the Seal of Power, this gives us 25% movement speed and critical chance if we have 2 School of Power arcana. What you actually want to have is Tranquil Stone. That's also a power arcana. Invoking your catalyst grants unstoppable. I engage with my catalyst, I will be unstoppable. As we upgrade this, it's exactly as much unstoppable as the disintegrate cooldown, so you can put down your corpse explosion wherever, without a corpse, be unstoppable, run in, nothing can stun, freeze, incapacitate you, you're completely unharmable, as you also have the barrier going on, and then rinse and repeat, redo that. You don't need to play Blood Mist or anything to then be unstoppable, we are just permanently unstoppable. And how would it look for boss fighting? Let's do a Lord Zur because he's a whisper right now. In the boss fight, you have a couple of jobs. Blight for bonus damage, Ray Skeletons for bonus damage, 3 Corpse Explosions for bonus damage, and then the Army of the Dead. But you can do this while you're also circling the enemy, and he'll just, yeah, absolutely fall over. Brilliant. Why are we circling the enemy? Because currently we're also playing the Bug rune for more critical strike chance. That rune doesn't have to be the Bug rune. We'll get to that in the equipment section. First, let's look at the main piece to make this work, the Hand of Nas. Sacrificing skeletal warriors and golem gives you additional mages. This leads to 12 mages together with Occult Dominion. You could technically put it on your amulet for 14 mages, but it's not worth it because you would lose tons of damage. The 2 most important things the Hand of Nas wants to max out is the ranks to Skeletal Mage Mastery and also the bottom below 100%. Because mages will throw out shatter bolts in between that do 100% bonus damage and up to 3 additional targets. So it's an area damage explosion. Why do you want the Mage Mastery so high? Because every rank in Mage Mastery multiplies the damage your mages do tremendously upwards. Right now it's 240% and every rank is another 20% bonus. With a greater affix, I could be sitting at 9 ranks here right now, which currently leads to a damage with mages of 12,269%. And that's not even max. In the skill tree, you want to get yourself Blight together with Supernatural Blight for that 20% multiplier. We also put 1 single point in Sever because we're actually using the Inexorable Reaper to teleport ourselves forwards. Then we get Corpse Explosion as a shadow skill. More shadow skills in your skill bar will be more damage with a Reaper's Pursuit passive. We also get the Grim Harvest that as we're consuming corpses, we have the essence to actually spam the Blight in between. Heads up, Titan's Fall is also fixed, so you can invest into Rings of Titanfall to get more damage. Right now, my weapon gave me Rings into Finality. That's a little bit less efficient because it only works when I cast ultis, but I cast my ulti around every 8 seconds. We get our Decrepify Curse, but we're not using it in our skill bar. This is simply being casted by your mages together with the Blood Moon Breaches. Our Corpse Generals are still our source of vulnerable as you continuously spam them. 1 single point in Necrotic Carapace, so you get Fortified. That damage reduction you don't want to miss out on. And then we're playing Army of the Dead over Soul Rift. Now, Soul Rift will make things a little bit more convenient, but Soul Rift actually doesn't give you Barrier anymore. And Army of the Dead has an amazing aspect, plus if your minions should die. If you should die and have to resummon your minions. Army of the Dead makes it so much more convenient, as Army of the Dead also gives you tons of corpses, and that works very well with our Paragon Board and our need to explode corpses for the ongoing Flash Eater Paragon node. Your warriors are being sacrificed for bonus shadow damage, as we're using shadow mages with that 3% multiplier, which seems to be slightly bugged right now and not always apply. When you're like changing zones, it might vanish. So you're kind of sometimes missing out on 36% bonus damage. And the golem is being sacrificed for that critical strike damage multiplier. Now on the gear front, I have suboptimal gear, but I have it severely masterworked already because in this current season, you always have enough Opticite. Well, I just get done masterworking, so I don't have enough anymore. The number one thing you need to get is the Hand of Nas, and you get that from Duriel and Dariel, the Harbinger of Hatred, and obviously Belial. I played the normal Golem Necro until Torment 2. There's a link in the description below. And then I got myself the Hand of Nas, swapped to mages, and jumped more or less instantly into Torment 4. Second piece you want to have is the Blood Moon Breaches, also Dariel, Duriel, Harbinger of Hatred. We're taking this for the Hellbang Commander. Yes, I did Masterwork Golem Mastery, that kind of stings. But with the Hellbang Commander, we're getting another 40% damage multiplier. Every rank is 10% damage. And it's always active. Plus the 50% bonus critical strike damage to enemies affected by your curse. And your dudes are just cursing the enemy by hitting them. You have 12 dudes hitting away with a 6% chance. It happens. Almost instantaneous. Last item would be the Ring of Mendeln. You want the greater affix on the Mage Mastery. And also the most damage possible. So you don't want a 3,000 roll, you want a 6,000 damage roll. And these 3 items combined with the aspect of service and sacrifice has your mages do another 200% bonus damage. 12 mages and each mage has that huge bonus damage with also 90% less damage taken. The Hand of Nas together with the aspect of service sacrifice is already enough to be crazy. Then we're also adding the aspect of reanimation on top though, where your minions gain another 90% damage as they're alive for 10 seconds. And don't forget to temper Skeletal Mage damage. Why are we tempering Skeletal Mage damage over critical strike damage? As we said, the ranks in Skeletal Mage Mastery multiply everything up super nicely. The real value you see out of town, by the way. You could say, but Pony, we have critical strike damage, and we also sacrifice the Golem for a critical strike damage multiplier. Yes, but that's only 35%, while your mages multiply everything upwards by 240%. Now, I have been playing the aspect of the Frenzied Dead for most of the time on my other ring, because I needed that bonus attack speed, and it really goes over the 100% attack speed cap just having your minions go crazy. That being said, for maximum damage, I swapped an Unyielding Commander. Now, the problem with Unyielding Commander is that it's only active when you have Army of the Dead active, which means it's 7 seconds of bonus damage. And then you need to gap the 44 seconds cooldown reduction. Now for me currently that is happening really fast because I have quite some lucky hit chance on my helmet too, and I'm tempering lucky hit chance on the chest piece. That I also want to temper on the helmet, but I just couldn't get it. It kept giving me cursed duration. With this, Decrepify is consistently reducing the Army of the Dead cooldown. I also do want to play a rune combo, which would be the Neo rune, avoid health damage while fighting for 2 seconds. Together with Zac, reduce your active ultimate cooldown by 1 second, and further reduce the cooldown if you overflow. This would shave down a huge amount. I can't do it though because I'm currently missing the Nagu rune to then activate Quox. and Quox will give us that 100% bonus damage while depleting our whole Essence Globe. To, by the way, be able to actually use that Essence Globe depletion and then regain your Essence, we temper on our ring up to a 15% chance to restore primary resource. That's enough. That resource restoration 15% with your minions blasting away gets you your resource consistently backed up. We're also looking to get attack speed, maximum life intelligence. Here, intelligence, maximum life attack speed. You always want that greater affix to intelligence multiplier as it just gets your intelligence up so far. You also do want to masterwork it instead of the skeletal mage damage, but I just didn't want to invest the 5 million to reset that. On your boots, there's currently Occult Dominion, but I want it to be Inexorable Reaper, that we are using our Sever as a mobility skill to teleport over the map. I don't have the Inexorable Reaper right now at 3.5 seconds, so with an 8-second cooldown, it's not so well to use. And my second problem is that I currently couldn't get the total armor tempering on the helmet. I need to reset the temper or find a new helmet. That's why I have to play the Juggernaut aspect. Yeah, I'm forced to play Juggernaut because I simply couldn't get my total armor temper. Now I could swap the movement speed on the boots out for another armor roll, get rid of the Juggernaut, put Occult Dominion on top here, and then I can play the Inexorable Reaper to actually teleport around with my Sever, and it feels really good. On the chest piece, we're looking to get Hardened Bones because you need that damage reduction. As we're actually only having 11,000 HP right now, then we're going to be drinking a potion, and we'll drink an Elixir of Fortitude, be at 13,300, and be a bit safer. And you will need this HP. Another problem right now are your resistances. Look at me, I'm a Necromancer, Torment 4, and I'm not fully resistance out. Why is that? Because you're playing these Heraldric Jewels and they only give you 6% elemental all resistance. While a Royal Diamond will give you 8% and a Ground Diamond will give you 12%. That would obviously take care of my resistances, but the Heraldric Jewels are just better, as they're also providing armor. Now, in order to fix the resistances, I have my Paragon Board, and it will help me as there's quite some all resistance nodes I can still take. However, it wouldn't hurt to have an all resistance roll on your boots, chest, or helmet. Otherwise, any kind of elemental threat will be quite annoying. Now, what also helps is getting the actual intelligence percentage masterwork, that this gets put higher. In the long run, with more Paragon points, this won't be a problem. But in the short term, as you join Torment 4, I'd recommend to have an elemental resistance piece. Now for my weapon, I currently have finality on it, because that's just the temper I got, and it's 4 ranks of finality. There'd be 5% damage for every rank, so 10 ranks is another 50% damage, quite nice. But it only is active as I have my ultimate active, which is fine as we have the ultimate active every 8 seconds, roughly. Optimally, it would be good to have Titan's Fall instead. That's also 5% per rank, so it would be another 50% bonus damage. Do I want to retemper this and risk it? No, because I could end up with Fueled by Death. And Fueled by Death is only 3% per rank, so I'm not going to risk bricking that weapon. For your Mercenary, you want to have Variana for that bonus attack speed to really get the 100% attack speed cap. And in your Paragon Board, we're playing Gravekeeper. Gravekeeper's an 18% multiplier for closed corpses. We always have closed corpses because of Army of the Dead and the lucky hit of our skeletal mages. This gives us also another 10.9% increased damage to healthy enemies to have these initial crits crit so much harder. Into the Cult Leaderboard for that 200% bonus damage based on the attack speed with the Death Razor glyph. Then we go to the side into the Flesh Eater, 40% on 3 corpses instead of 5 corpses. And we're also playing the Amplify here. As you can see, we can still put quite some points to get bonus damage. Then we'll move into the Send of Death for the damage reduction and bonus critical strike damage, with even more damage reduction and resistance to all elements. And there's currently the Eliminator right in here. There's tons more intelligence we can take. Probably in the long run, I might go out on top than on the side to actually weasel out these intelligence nodes here and not miss out on them. But for that, I want to have 220 Paragon points for some different pathing. Last board is Frailty for the 40% multiplier, and we're going to be playing the Essence Glyph here. And that one is also the one we level up the most. It's currently sitting at level 60 already. There is tons of dexterity I can still take in this board to boost things even further. And you really want to do that as critical strike is your second big multiplier next to the mage damage bonus. The optimal layout with 300 Paragon points can be found in the mobility's description below, as also the perfect tempers. Since my helmet is playing maximum life and curse duration, you obviously want total armor and lucky hit chance, and not curse duration. Ladies and gentlemen, is the Archmage Necromancer something you're going to try out? Level build, as I said, is linked in the description below. And if you're struggling with the progression towards Torment 4, here's a video for you and some tips on better farming and looting. Enjoy and have a fantastic good time.